Suppose we are having one requirement that we wanted to print some message, let us say welcome for 10 times. What we will do? What we will do? We will keep this statement in a loop. Then it will be repeated for specified number of times. Then we could able to get like 10 times means 10 times we could able to write like this. For some variable I in range of 10, then it will be repeated for 10 times. So this statement will be executed 10 times. That's it. Right? So when we can use loop, whenever we are having some set of statements, let us say these as set of statements, we wanted to execute this set of statements for multiple times, then we will enclose these statements in a loop, then we could able to repeat for multiple times. Okay. Now we are having same kind of requirement, but little what you call variation is there. Like we are having some set of statements which we need to repeat, let us say 5 times. 5 times we have to repeat. Here also we are having some set of statements we wanted to repeat for 5 times. We wanted to execute same set of statements 5 times. But the variation here is we will be executing 5 times but not contiguously. That means if we enclose these statements in a loop, what will happen? We will be executing 1 time. Next, second time we will execute, third time we will be executing, like that continuously 5 times we will be executing. Okay. Here our requirement is we wanted to execute some set of statements 5 times only, but not continuously. Like we will be executing first time here, then we will write some code. Okay, some other statements. Okay, not this one. Let us say this as A. Set of statements I am naming as A. Okay, then I will be executing some other statement, then again we wanted to execute same these only. That means this is A again. Again I will be executing some other statements, again we want to execute A only. Like this, how many times? 5 times we wanted to repeat, but not continuously. Understand? Here, if this is the requirement, we cannot use loop. Yes or no? Can we use loop? No. If we use loop, these statements will be repeated continuously for specified number of times. But how we can able to do this one is, here how we have discussed these set of statements we are referring as A. These set of statements we are referring as A. So in the same way, whatever the set of statements we wanted to repeat for multiple times, but at different places, not continuously, at different places, we will give some name to it. We will give some name to those set of statements. Okay, whenever we want, we will call that particular name. Understand? Whenever we want to execute those set of statements, we will call by using that name. That's it. Okay, let us assume we wanted to give addresses for all of you. Let us say address, you need to get, suppose you have registered for AWS program, right? You have registered something like course material, hard copy you will be receiving. Let us assume hard copy course material you will be receiving from Amazon. Okay, for them you have to give address. In general, you can give your own individual residence address, that is fine. But our assumption is you will be giving common address like CSC department or ICFI Tech, IFHE, Hyderabad. That's it. This is the common address. So we will be requiring that we will be writing your name. We will be writing your name. Then what is this? ICFI Tech or FST. Then IFHE, Hyderabad, and the pin code. Next, again another name here. Okay, this is another name. Again same thing. FST, IFHE, Hyderabad. Next, again another name. Again same thing. FST, IFHE, Hyderabad. So what we will be doing? This particular, whatever the statements we wanted to repeat for multiple times at different places, those we will store as one name. Okay, those we will store with one name, and whenever we want, that we will call. Understand? So whatever the whatever the what you call we are giving some name to this particular one, right? Grouping such kind of thing, we call it as a function. Function is nothing but whenever we are having a set of statements which we need to repeat for multiple times at whenever we want. Okay, that can be continuously also we can call, or at different places also we can call. We will be giving some name to some set of statements. That name is nothing but function name. Okay, this entire concept we call it as function. Okay, earlier we have used one thing called SQRT. What is it? Square root. Whenever we give one value, corresponding square root will be returned. Okay, did we define how square root need to be calculated? No, just already exist. Whenever we want, we are approaching, we are using that name and we are approaching that function. Understand? Similarly, here we will be defining, let us say, print function. Okay, print address. Okay, that is the function name. Print address. Inside that we will be having the statements to print FST, IFHE, Hyderabad, pin code, all these things we will be having. Whenever we want, we will call print address. That's it. Understand? So now you define one function with the name print address. Print address is the name, like A is the name given to this set of statements. Like that, we are giving name called print address. Okay, in that print address, what we will be having? Some set of statements. Like for printing FST, IFHE, all these statements, we will be enclosing in that print address. Okay, whenever we want, we will invoke that by using the name. Understand? Now we will try to see how we can define a function. I hope you understand what is meant by function. Anyone has doubt? Since yesterday strength was less, I didn't tell. Actually, I thought of discussing that yesterday. Yeah, anyone has doubt? Function. Did you understand? Yes or no? Yeah. Here you see, to define something, what we are giving? Some set of statements, one name. Okay, some set of statements. Let us assume set of statements as print FST, then print next print then you can consider pin code. What is the pin code? Anything, huh? Okay, these are the set of statements. Okay, for these set of statements, we wanted to give one name. Okay, that name is print address. That can be any name. Okay, in general, to differentiate from this is already exist, right? Print is already exist. So we should give some other name. Okay, which should not match with the existing one. Okay, so now print address I am giving. Print address. Print address is the name. Okay, we are defining this particular function. Okay, that's why we will be using one keyword called DEF. DEF. DEF space whatever the name we wanted to give, that one. Okay, and I have mentioned you one thing. Whenever we use parenthesis, what it indicates? What it indicates? Parenthesis. If you use, then it will indicate a function. SQRT, how you have used it as a function. Okay, like this we are having sine as a function, cos as a function. Okay, a cos, that is cos inverse, arc cos, arc sine. Cos inverse means a cos of x. Okay, in order to use SQRT, how you have used? Parenthesis, and within that something some number we have passed. Similarly, here also, as print address is what? Print address is what? Function. So we need to have parenthesis. Okay, and starting from here, these all are part of this only, right? So we need to indicate that by using colon, and we have to give indentation. Okay, this is the syntax. What is the syntax? From this you can tell. What is the syntax? DEF syntax to define a function. Def, then print address is nothing but the name of the function. Yeah, function name. Function name. Then we must use parenthesis, then we have to define by separating with colon. Parenthesis, then colon, then what we will be having here? Statements. How many statements we can have? Any number we can have. Okay, this is the syntax and this is the example. Now we are having a function called print address. We are having a function called sqrt. Similarly, we have defined a function called print address. Now after defining this, if you write anything here, is it part of this this print address? No, it is outside of it. Okay. Now here we will be writing like this: print. Let us say the name. Okay, name, and we wanted to print address. Okay, print address. What is the name? Print address is the name of the function. So by using that, as we have used sqrt, similarly here we will be using print address, then parenthesis. Then what it will print? First name ABC, then it will print this address. Okay, for the second person we wanted to print in the similar way, then print def. Next, afterwards, print address. Okay, what will be the output? Output of this one? Name ABC, then FST IFHE Hyderabad 501203, then again name DEF, again FST IFHE Hyderabad 501203. Okay, this is the example for defining a function. We will use this syntax. This is the syntax, and this is the example. That is not required. If you want to separate, then you use. If you give space there, then it will give. Here you remember, print address is a single word. We have used this one as a single word. There is no space. Okay. If you want to separate these two and you wanted to use as a function name, then we need to use underscore, print underscore, then you can use. Like this you can use. Okay. If you want to separate, otherwise don't give space. Okay. You make it as a single word. That is other one. Understand? Yeah. Over. Next. Now you consider sqrt. How we have used sqrt of 9. sqrt of 64, sqrt of 4, yes or no? Like this we have used. That means something we are passing from here. Okay, then actually this sqrt already defined like this. Okay, we didn't define, but it is already available in Python library. So def sqrt, it is not simply empty parenthesis. There will be something here. Okay, based upon that it will work. So whatever the value we pass from here, that will be copied there and it can be used throughout this function definition. Let us say here we are having n. Then whenever we call print address of n, let us say print address of a. What is the value of n? What is the value of n? Print address of a. So n is nothing but a. Okay, whenever I wanted to print n, then it will print a. Understand? So now similarly here square root of 9. Square root of 9 in the sense 9 we are passing. Suppose the name of the function is sqrt itself, then n value will be 9. Okay, then whenever we use n multiplied by n here, then 9 multiplied by 9, like that it will consider. Understand? Depending upon the function call, the value will be decided. Okay, we can pass several values from this particular function call. This is function call. This is function call. This is function call. Understand? Function call in the sense already function is defined. We are calling that function. We are using that function by making a function call. This is a function call. This is a function call or not? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Because print is also a function. Here we are having parenthesis. Yes or no? So print is also a function, but it is already available in Python. That we are calling. All these days we have used several functions without understanding it. Input of what is it? It is also a function. It is having some functionality. Similarly, print, it is having a functionality. sqrt, it is having a functionality. In all these instances, parenthesis we have used. Understand? And for some functions, we have given values as well. sqrt of 9, sqrt of 64, like that we have given values also. Those values we call it as arguments. Those values we call it as arguments. 9 is an argument. Next, 64 is an argument. 4 is an argument. Okay. What about the actual here print address? Are we having any arguments? Print, are we having any argument? Yes, this is an argument. Next, print, this is an argument. Print address, no argument. Okay. In the function definition, we don't have any arguments. That's why vertical. We haven't specified any variable there. Okay, what you call, I will tell you. But we don't have anything here. That's why we should not pass any arguments. Okay, if anything is there, then we can pass. Understand? Now let us consider the requirement is I will be calling print address by providing the name. Like I will be providing ABC as the name, print address. Then it should print that name as well as this entire address. Try to understand here. We are online people are great people. They will not get any doubt at all. Of course, you will also be great sometimes when you attend online. Yeah. So now here the requirement we are changing slightly, that we will be making a function call to this print address and we will pass one argument. Okay. Earlier, did we pass any argument here? No. Here did we pass any argument? No. But now we will pass one argument. Okay, now we will pass one argument. Along with that argument, this address has to be printed. Okay, now let us see how it will work. It is like we will be calling this print address only by providing ABC. Next, print address. Okay, this is the function call. Okay, what kind of function it should be? Now, print address should receive this argument. Yes or no? Print address we are calling by providing an argument. So, it should be in a position to receive that. For that, we will be giving one name here. Let us say name as the, now we will be defining. Okay, whatever the name we have received from here to there, that we wanted to print. Okay, that we wanted to print. So print name. Shall we need to use double quotes? No, because that is the variable name. Name is the variable, so variable name we are providing here. So from here ABC will be passed. So what we call this ABC? Argument. Okay, whatever the variable name we have used in the function definition, try to understand. Whatever the variable name we have used in the function definition, that we call it as parameter. Understand? So name is parameter. For that particular parameter, we are giving the value. What we call this one? Argument. Understand? Sometimes we will be calling this one as a formal parameter. Formal parameter. This one is actual parameter. Formal parameter means, suppose if you go to bank to deposit something, then you will be having a form. There some fields will be there. Date, account number, how much amount, all these things, denomination, all these things will be there. Then signature. These are the fields. Within those fields, you will be entering your own actual values. Okay, what is the today's date? What is the amount that you wanted to deposit? All these things you will be filling. Until that time, it is a form. Okay. Similarly, here also we are having a definition. Okay, we are having a definition. Here we will be having fields. Name is a field. For square root, number is a field. Yes or no? So those are called formal parameters. Okay, these we call it as actual parameters. Okay, or specifically this is a parameter, this is argument. Okay, parameter, argument. This is clear. Formal parameter, actual parameter, or formal argument. Sometimes formal argument, actual argument. Okay, but terminology is different, but you know the functionality. By that you can understand what is it. Yes, even in interviews also, what is the difference between formal parameter and actual parameter means? Can you able to say now? Formal parameter, actual parameter. What is the difference? Actual parameter means argument. That means while making a function call, whatever the value we pass, those are actual parameters. Formal parameters means the variable names which we have in the function definition. Those are formal parameters. Right? Yeah. Here? Yes, you can. Yes, you can use. Yeah. What is the output of this? Output of this now? ABC. Then? So it is same as earlier program output. But we could able to, instead of writing 4 function calls here, we have made that function call here itself. Okay, print function, so that we can reduce the number of lines. Sir, no? Yeah. Take this one as well. This is an example for what? Defining a function with parameter. Defining a function with parameter. Earlier we don't have any parameter. When we have parameter, we need to pass argument. Now write a program to define a to define a function, write a program to define a function which will calculate square root of cube of the given number. N. Next, what should be the output? Square root of n cube. Okay, this is the requirement. And now what we will do is we have to define a function. Okay, for defining a function, what is the syntax? Def. Yeah, let us assume function name is function itself. Okay, how many values we have to pass? How many values we have to pass? One value. So let us assume that one as n itself. Okay, n is the name. Now what we have to calculate first? Square root of n cube. So n cube, let us so C represent that cube. So n cube, how can calculate? N star. Okay. Or n double star 3. That also fine. Yeah, now we have got cube. Then afterwards sqrt of C. Then we have got S. That we will be printing here. Print yes. What is the value of n? N is nothing but we have to pass. This is just a definition. It is like you assume this as a form. Okay, if form will exist in the bank, but it will not do anything until we go and fill and submit. Understand? So we have to fill the actual values. So what is the actual value? Let us consider. We have to take the number as the input. So integer of input of enter number. Okay, now we have got the input. Now we will make a function call to this. So what is the function name? What is the function name? Function name is so function of num, right? This one we have to pass. This is different from this. Understand? This is in the form. This is parameter. This is argument. Okay. Now whenever we call, then n value will be same as number. Understand? This number value will be copied to n. Then afterwards all these operations will be performed and it will print it. Write a program to define a factorial function. To define factorial function and invoke it. Invocation is nothing but calling. Function invoking is nothing but function calling. Okay, write a program to define factorial function and invoke it. So what is the input? N. So given number will be the n. I will tell you, but if I tell that, people will get confused. You can write. Yeah, n is the input. So first of all, we have to define a function. So what is the syntax? Yeah, def. Then what is the function name? Function name is factorial. So you can use fact as the function name. You can use factorial fully also. So fact of n, some value we have to take. This is the parameter. This parameter name you can give anything. There is no restriction. Parameter name you can give anything. Next colon. After taking n as the input, then how we will calculate factorial? 5 factorial, how we will calculate? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Till n or n? Till n we have to multiply it. Let us consider f is the factorial value, okay? N is the given value, let us assume 5. So we will start I value, that is from 1. What we will do? We will be starting from 1 into next 1 into, it will be incremented to 2. 1 into 1 in 2 into 2 into 1, so it will become 2. Next it will become 3, then 3 into 2, then it will become 6, then this will become 4. Next 4 into, then this will become 5. 5 into 24, 125, 120, 120, then we will stop. As I reached n, then we will stop. So what is the I value? I value should start from 1 up to n. Next, what is the value of f? F value is 1. Afterwards, f value, how we are updating? F is equal to I into f or f into I. Okay, f into I. What is the value of I? What is the value of f? Initially 1. We should take 1. So f is equal to 1. Every time we will be updating f value as f into I up to n. So what is the statement that we have to write? F is equal to initial value of f is 1. Afterwards, I value we should start with 1. That is for I in range of 1 comma 6, 1 comma n plus 1. Okay, so 1 comma n plus 1. What we will do every time? This only we will do. F is equal to f into I. So f is equal to f into I. After completing this loop, we will be having the factorial value in which variable? In f. So we will be printing. Okay, now we have to invoke it, right? So what is the input? Number. This is just a form. We have prepared a form. Okay, now we have to fill with the actual values. So number equal to integer of input of enter number, fact of num. Yeah, last. What is this DCF? You only. What is this DCF? Huh? What is the full form of DCF? Sit down. Yeah, last. Huh? Define. That is the full form of DCF. Okay, sit down. What is it? DEF, not DCF, right? DCF or DEF? DEF. Okay. over. Next, write a program to define a Fibonacci function, which will print nth Fibonacci number, We know already what is meant by Fibonacci series. Did we discuss or not? What is it? Fibonacci series. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, like this, right? It is like first two numbers are 1 and 1. Next, third number we will get by adding previous two numbers. Fourth number we will get by adding previous two numbers. This one by using these two. By using these two we will get this one. Like this, previous two numbers we have to add to get the next number. Okay, this is Fibonacci series. Sometimes we will be starting from 0 also. 0, 1. First number will be 0. Second number will be 1. What will be the third number? Again it will start in the same way. Understand? 0, 1. Some people will refer first number is 0, second number is 1. But some people will use this. First number is 1, second number is also 1. Okay, anyway, afterwards it will be same only. Now, you consider starting from this 1, 1, okay, starting from 1. Now, if I give the input as 5, what should be the output? That is fifth Fibonacci number. What is the fifth Fibonacci number? 5. If I give 6 as the input, if I give 10 as the input, $34, 55. 10 as the input, 55. So like this, we have to find out what is the nth Fibonacci number that we have to print. Okay. Now let us define the function called Fibonacci. Okay. Yeah. So how we can define a function? DEF, DEF, FIB of one number we have to take, nth Fibonacci number we are saying. So we will take n, then colon. Now we have to consider what are the first two numbers? 1, 1 we have considered. So first two numbers are 1, 1. So those are fixed. Yes or no? So those are fixed. Let us consider A and B as 1 and 1. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1. So two values we know. How we can get the third value? Yeah. A value is 1, B value is 1, C value is A plus B, then we will get 2. Next, how we can get the next one? B plus C. Actually here how we have got this one is C is equal to A plus B. Okay. Same thing only I wanted to do. Then I wanted to do A plus B only to get the next number, that is 3. So what should be the value of A? A is equal to? What about B? It is simple, ma. Like you consider 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Okay. A, B here. Then C will be here. Okay. Next, now we wanted to consider this one. We wanted to calculate this one. So C will be here. What about A and B? Here A, here B. Understand? Next, this will be the C. Then what about A and B? This is A, this is B. Okay, now this is C. Then what is A? This is A, this is B. And now how we are changing A and B values? Now you tell. A value we are changing as whatever the B value we have, that we have to assign to A. Whatever the C value we have, that we have to assign to B. Here also same thing, right? B value we are assigning to A, C value we are assigning to B. Okay, now can you say now a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, afterwards c is equal to a plus b. Okay, fine, c is equal to a plus b, then we will get one number, third number we have got. Now how we have to change? By seeing it itself. Huh? b is equal to a, that means a value will be assigned to b. This we have to assign to a, so a is equal to b, understand? So a is equal to b, b is equal to c, afterwards c is equal to, so c is equal to a plus b, same thing. Afterwards a is equal to b, b is equal to c, again we will be calculating c is equal to a plus b. So these three statements we are repeating for certain number of times. How many times we have to repeat? How many number of times? How many number of times? What is the requirement? Nth Fibonacci number. Suppose seventh Fibonacci number we are calculating. Seventh Fibonacci number means first we will calculate one time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. This is the seventh Fibonacci number. Okay, how many times we have calculated? 5 times. Why? Because we are not performing any addition here to get first number, second number. We have taken statically. So n minus 2 number of times we need to repeat these three statements. Yes or no? So we know how we can repeat? Loop. How many times? N minus 2. So enclose these three statements in a loop. Finally, what is the requirement? What is the requirement? C is the requirement. That is nth Fibonacci number. That is present in C. Okay. So you print here C. Then we will be defining a function called Fibonacci. Then afterwards we will be taking input number, then calling that function. That's it. Okay. Can you able to complete this? Yeah, complete it. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1. People who understand, write it on your own. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, then C equal to A plus B, A is equal to B, B is equal to C. This process we have to repeat for n minus 2. So for I in range of 1 comma if you know how many number of times we have to repeat, we are not using I here, right? It is independent. So directly you can give that number. Then it will start from 0 to n minus 1. So we can give here n minus 2. So it will be repeated for n minus 2 times. And finally we have to print what? C. Now after defining this, we have to take the input. Number is equal to integer of, sorry, this is input, right? Then we need to make a function call by passing this num as the argument. It will start from 0 up to, that is n minus 2. So how many times total? N minus 1 times. N minus 1 times, yes or no? So, but we wanted to repeat for over over. So okay. Yeah. now here earlier we have used one function called square root of 9. Okay, suppose a is equal to square root of 9, then we wanted to print a. What is the value? 3 will be printed. Let us assume this is square root of number, and number we will be taking from the user integer of input of enter number. Then whatever the number we give, for that it will calculate square root and it will be stored in a, that will be printed. Understand? Now whatever the program, whatever the functions we have defined there, in those functions if you observe one common functionality, yeah, if yeah, yeah, here if you observe in the is it visible? Yes. So in this particular one, we are printing the resultant here itself. It is not giving anything back. Factor, it is like we are giving the value after taking from the user, we are giving the value to the factorial, then it is calculating the factorial and it is printing here itself. Here also we are taking the input from the user and we are giving to the function and it is calculating the nth Fibonacci number and it is printing. That's it. Okay, it is not giving any value back to this particular one. Here no value is coming, just it is printing after calculation. That's it. But suppose we wanted to we have the requirement that we wanted to calculate given n, we wanted to calculate like this: 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus 3 factorial up to n factorial. Okay, so how can we calculate 2 factorial? We can define a function, right? We can define a function. Here we are using the same functionality, same set of statements. That is whatever the statements we will use to calculate the factorial, same set of statements we wanted to use multiple times. So 2 factorial we will call like factorial of 2. Next factorial of 3, factorial of 4, like that up to factorial of n. Every time what we will do, we have to keep track of a sum. Okay, initially sum we can consider as 0, factorial of 1 we will calculate, then that we will be adding to sum. Sum is equal to sum plus factorial of 1. Next this will become 1. Next sum is equal to sum plus factorial of 2. So this will become, next sum is equal to sum plus factorial of 3. So it will become 3 factorial. 6 plus 3, so 9. So like this it will keep on repeating. Now in order to do this kind of thing, what should be here? Like factorial of 2 means it should be replaced with corresponding value. Okay, it should come back from this function. Understand? Whatever the value we have calculated, just we are printing here. But our requirement is not to print that. We wanted to use that result for getting the sum. Understand? So how we can do that one is, instead of writing this printf here, printing f here, what we will do is that f value, that is the result, right? That f value we will return. So we will write, instead of this printf, we will write return f. What is the value we are returning? F. To which, to where it will be returning? From where we have called that function, to that place it will be returned. So fact of n means here you can use one variable a is equal to fact of num. So this value will be copied into n and it will calculate the factorial and that value will be returned back to this. So a will be assigned with the value number factorial, 1 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, whatever the number we pass, with that it will repeat. Understand? So now you try to complete this program. Given a number, you have to calculate 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus 3 factorial, so on up to n factorial. Okay, this you write it down by next class. And tomorrow also, tomorrow I will take class. Okay, Saturday I will not take class. I have told you already. Tomorrow at what time shall we have class?